Hi, my name is thembelihle Mnguni, a Miss World South Africa finalist, and this is the KJ Real Talk podcast.
Welcome back to another special episode of the THEKJREALTALK podcast. In today's episode, we're joined by the one and only Miss World finalist. My bad. How are you good? How are you doing, Timby? No, the way she's like, I was like, I must have done something wrong.
You did.
Yeah?
You did do something wrong, but I don't think you should start over.
Yeah, it was
okay.
It's real.
Oh.
The KJ Real Talk, Real Talk.
Let's have this conversation. By the way, before we start the conversation, I just want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
For being a finalist.
Yes.
I'm just looking at other pageants, especially crown chasers.
Yes.
You know, they actually, they actually had something last night.
Last night it was
Yeah.
top 16.
Yeah, imagine out of how many models? Imagine.
It was 30, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cutthroat.
Yeah.
They cut half, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's about you now.
Yes.
But how are you doing though?
I'm doing great. I barely slept, let me be honest with you,
Yeah.
because the news came at 3 minutes past 12 today.
Yeah.
And I was excited, I was on top of the world.
Mm.
And then my parents and I stayed up till 4 a.m. just
Yeah.
talking about the future, talking about, okay, so when you win Miss World,
Yeah.
let alone Miss South Africa, they already know Miss World South Africa, they already know that,
Yeah.
they were like, when you win Miss World, do you want people to come welcome you at the airport?
Yo, that's
Oh, you're gonna
big.
bring buses to OR Tambo.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. But yeah, we stayed up till 4 a.m. making all these plans and
Yeah.
just, looking forward to the future. But other than that, I'm doing great.
Mm.
I'm doing really good.
Yeah. That's looking at the passion that you have for pageantry
Yes.
and for fashion. Oh, girl.
Yes.
I was looking at is it Silika, right? Silika.
Yes, Silica.
Silika. Yeah. I like the designs and all those things. How are you learning to sort of fit in? Can I say fit in? Oh, maybe sort of brand yourself for the brand with Silica.
Okay, so Silica and I, the actual designer, we
Yeah.
went to primary school together.
Oh.
So she's my homegirl. She's also from the East Rand.
Yeah.
And when she went to study fashion further, I was also still there in her, career and in her journey into becoming an actual designer who is now showcasing on South African Fashion Week.
Yeah. Oh, that's big.
Yeah, she's doing really good.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I am trying to fit in. It's more of a blend of me and Silica. When you have a friendship with someone,
Yeah.
you both bring two different sides to
Yeah.
the table.
You combine it together.
And you combine them together. Sometimes friends are friends because they share things. I don't know.
Common thing.
Yes, because they share common things or because they're complete opposites, But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they make it work. So that's the same thing with Silica and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
I realized that you're really passionate, and I mean, those pictures, they look classic.
Let me tell you,
Classic.
there's more coming.
Yeah. What are you mostly looking forward in pageants? This is your first pageant, right?
No, it's not. It's my third.
Oh, okay. That's the first big, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
My first big pageant, yes.
Yeah. How are you embracing each and every moment in the pageant industry?
I pray a lot. I cannot do any of this without God.
Yeah.
I remember when I pressed submit on my application for Miss World South Africa,
Yeah.
I just got down on my knees and I was like, Lord, your will, not mine. I don't want any hand in this. I know I did the work, but I want your way throughout the whole pageant.
Yeah.
So I don't make any decisions without praying on it first. And I don't celebrate anything without praying on it first, like today. Yes. How else do I navigate this? I have a very strong supportive system. I have so many of my friends that just cheer me on. There are days when I really am at my lowest. And my mental health just takes a beating. I'm human after all, you know. Sometimes I have bad days, and I have friends and family who just know exactly what to say to get me back up, and it helps a lot. I also go to therapy because, like I said, I'm human after all. I do get overwhelmed. I do feel like the world's weight is on my shoulders. But I do talk about it through therapy. I just believe that it's good to release, you know, be it releasing through prayer, releasing through therapy, and having a good support structure is very important as well.
You talk about the relationship that you have with Seleka. What are the most key important things that you need to start building in friendship? Because those friendships, trust me, like, this the number one key thing that I'm actually praying for, hoping for, you know, one day that I have such. It's like the important thing that, like, who you surround yourself with. Like, trust me, that's the end goal, you know. But like, how, like, just talking through the relationship. How can we build
friendships,
meaningful friendships?
I think it's rooted in your values as friends. I went through a phase where I had friends that wanted to go out every single night and, you know, party and whatnot, but that wasn't my season. It was theirs, but not mine. And then we got to a point where it felt like we were butting heads because of our values. And I think if you know where you stand and what you're rooted in, then don't let anyone come into your life to waver that or to shake you, you know? I have friends that I've had since I was 10 years old. And I also have friends that I met last year. Literally, it's our 1 year anniversary. But we have been closer than ever. She's met my mom, I've met her mom. In fact, this friend that I'm talking about that I made last year, I traveled all the way to KZN. I drove to KZN to meet her family as well. Just because I know that once you find something real and raw and genuine, you just know that this feels good inside.
You feel safe.
You feel safe. You feel comfortable. And that's what I mean by you have to be rooted in knowing that this feels good.
I realized that you're such a passionate person. Like, what are you unapologetic about?
What am I unapologetic about? That's
it's like something. It's like you've never been asked this question before.
I have never even asked myself this question. I am. Okay, let me understand this question. Being unapologetic is like you just do it regardless. You don't ask for permission. You don't care what anybody says. I would say I am unapologetic about my background. About where I grew up, how I grew up, about like the person that is here today, the person that was molded. I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm from the East Rand. What did Tyler say? They never met a pretty girl from Joburg. You mean now? Exactly that. She put it perfectly for me. Yeah.
Like, how do you define success in your life, in your personal life?
To me, success is when preparation and hard work just come together harmoniously, if that's the word, in harmony.
Yeah.
I know that there are so many people that can say you don't need to work hard to be successful, but then you most likely had prepared yourself, be it mentally, physically, intellectually. You had to do some groundwork to get you there. This might be controversial, but I also believe that you can't lead if you can't read.
You can't what?
You can't lead if you don't read.
Okay.
I'm very big on that the most successful people that we have or that we are familiar with are avid readers, be it novels or self-help books or whatever, but they read, you know, and they keep themselves informed, they exercise their minds. And that's also something that I think should be considered into success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the pressure? You know, Miss World, like having to be a finalist on Miss World. That's like big. That's like big. How do you deal with the pressure?
Miss World South Africa is a pageant that, when it first came out, which was last year, I had a bit of a question mark. I was like, okay, this is new. Then I asked all my pageant friends, like, you know, hey guys, what's this? And they were like, oh, okay, so this is what happened. Miss South Africa doesn't have the rights anymore. Carol Bauer now has the rights. And I was like, okay, cool. And then because of that, I think the pressure had shifted from, in my mind, you had to win Miss South Africa in order to become Miss World.
Okay.
To now, okay, there's a brand new pageant. There's no expectations because, you know, there's only one person who's won this title.
Oh, yeah.
And
Which
you
is
can,
Doctor.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you can make it your own. You just have to be out there, be yourself. And I think that's why I don't feel as much pressure, because it's like a blank sheet that you get to write. Yeah.
Like writing your history.
Exactly.
That's so far. And one thing that I've realized about, you know, Miss World South Africa is beauty with purpose.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you define beauty with purpose?
Beauty with purpose is when elegance and humanity and an overall pageant queen come together.
Yeah.
And I think it's when you have somebody who embodies a good heart with a poised persona, you know. It's somebody who's I'm thinking in Zulu. I'm so sorry. There's something that I want to say, but it's not coming out in English.
Yeah.
Like uziphethe kahle.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Get it.
And this is also a humanitarian project. Like when you step into this, you're stepping into becoming a humanitarian. Like you have to care for others.
Yeah.
You can walk the walk, you can talk the talk, but where does your heart lie? And that's what I think beauty with a purpose is.
Yeah. What has been the biggest lesson as a finalist?
The biggest lesson as a finalist would be to keep your head up and keep going.
Yeah.
There was a time where I was a semi-finalist. I lost a very dear friend of mine. And thank you. And my world it was rearranged. I was turned upside down, and I got a message from someone from the Miss World South Africa team. And she was like, you know what, I'm really sorry that you're going through this.
Yeah.
And if you need to talk to anyone, I'm here. However, I know that your friend would want you to keep going. I know that your friend would not want you to give up, because I went off of the internet for 3 days. And I was just like, I actually can't do this. This is overwhelming, because I was seeing his face everywhere, and I wasn't really there. And she got me back up, and more than anything, I can't thank her enough for, reminding me that you are going through a tough time, and that's the harsh reality, is that you're grieving, but keep your head up, keep going. Yeah.
Like, how do people maybe that are still dealing with the grief, how can you advise them to, how can you help them to heal through such?
Okay. I don't think healing is the same for everyone. I also don't think healing is linear. I don't think healing is the same for everyone. I also don't think it's linear. I don't think it has a timeline, actually. And for anyone who is grieving right now, I can tell you that it will get better. I don't know when, and that's the part that's very scary, but it will get better. Yeah. It sounds very cliche.
No, like it's such conversation, that's why, this platform, we're creating a safe space for such conversation. Definitely it's gonna help someone who's listening, and I felt like, I was like deep in those, that conversation, that's deep. Yeah, but what do you hope for as a title holder? Like, it's just, putting our hopes high and wishing the Queen THEKJREALTAK, to win the title. What are you hopeful to you as a title holder? What are you mostly looking forward to, and the conversation that you had with your parents? Such conversation, a lot of people really don't have them, and that's a huge privilege, What are you hopeful if you win the title?
The one word that comes to my mind whenever I think of winning Miss World South Africa is freedom. I think as South Africans, there's so many issues that we face. There's so many issues ranging from the elections and the uncertainty of what party is going to be running our government, to load shedding, to basic education. So those aspects are what I want to tackle when I become Miss World South Africa. Load shedding specifically because as a prospective electrical engineer, it's a very deep passion of mine to liberate my country. And when it comes to basic education, I have my Beauty with a Project, Beauty with a Purpose project, Engineering Teen Edge, which is essentially a project that is aimed at empowering and inspiring the next generation of leaders. So I look for freedom, and I look for hope, and I look for just a bright light wherever I go, particularly for my country.
What are you, how do you balance the work, the demands of the pageant and your school life?
Okay. Growing up, my father is an electrical engineer himself.
So you're inspired?
100%. My father is my superhero. He is definitely someone I look up to. The first person I ever looked up to, actually. And I think because he instilled in me a character of being able to prioritize, like in your mind even, not necessarily writing things down, but being able to prioritize what's important, what needs to be done right now, what can be left for later, and what do I have to do in order for something to not go wrong. So he brought me up to think like an engineer. So my whole life I was just problem solving, this and that. Okay, okay, sure. You know? So when it came to balancing my studies and Miss World South Africa, there were things in Miss World South Africa that if it was not done by Sunday, I would be in very big trouble. So I'd make sure I get it done by Wednesday. And then I'd have assignments and deadlines, and obviously those are crucial or else you're done. You know? So yeah, I think because my dad taught me to prioritize things and think about what needs to be done now, what if I don't do this now, will I actually, is it detrimental, will someone die? Or not, you know, or will you lose a bag? Okay, that type of thing, because there's also modeling involved in it. Like if I don't go to this photo shoot, is it a bad idea? Okay, or if I spend 3 hours at this photo shoot and then I go do something else, you know, that sense of being able to split your time.
Trying to balance.
Yes, strategically and think about it first. Don't just act on it.
Yeah. Interesting. So like what inspired you to be a model that you are right now? To be the gorgeous lady, the gorgeous model that you are right now. What really inspired you to be one?
So in 2014, exactly 10 years ago from this year, I won Miss Boksburg High. And as part of the prize, we got a free course into like fashion modeling, runway modeling, as well as just different poses that you would do, commercial and whatnot. And then I also got a free photo shoot. And from there, I applied those skills that I learned from the course into the photo shoot. And then when the photos came back, I was like, girl, oh, these are gorgeous, if I do say so myself. And then from there, it was just photo shoots after photo shoot, and I just knew that fashion modeling is my thing. It's what I love to do. I just love finding myself in front of a camera.
What's next in the pageant industry, maybe outside pageantry, as an engineer, as a model, a fashion model, what's next?
So as an engineer, firstly, it would be to complete my studies. Secondly, it would be to push my Beauty with a Purpose projects, which is Engineering Teen Edge. I really want to see it take off, and I really want to see it spreading as far as wide as the rest of the country. And then for fashion modeling, I honestly, my biggest goal is to be a model for South African Fashion Week. And for Miss World South Africa, it would be to have a crown on my head in October.
And as I say, like going back to what I was watching last night, you know, Doctor, the one and only.
Dr. Claudia.
Yeah, that really inspired me to like, okay, looking at a fan point of view, I was like, girl, this is thembelihle. One day we're gonna be like, I once had a conversation with her, you know, and look at her now on stage, now getting the crowd, you know. Yeah, so like, what are you mostly looking forward to in pageantry spaces?
I think what I'm most looking forward to is the growth. That firstly, I've already seen a lot of growth in me, be it in how I communicate now, in how I carry myself, because I know this morning my mom was like, I need to take the laundry out of the washing machine, and I was like, You're talking to a Miss World South African finalist. You're Washini.
Are you really going there right now?
She said, "You are my daughter first before you are a finalist. So get that washing out." So in that, I know that there's a lot of growth, but there's still a lot of me that is still within me. I'm still my parents' daughter, after all. I am still thembelihle, but I can see that I am growing in aspects that, like I mentioned, communication is one of the biggest ones that I can see that, okay, I'm doing the work here, you know. Growth in how I manage and maintain my mental health, growth in my spirituality as well. I think that's what's going on right now.
You know, I was actually having a conversation with Selika. I'm gonna have to understand how to pronounce the name. Yeah, and looking at, you know, she's also from East Rand, and also paving the East Rand, and yeah, like I'm really looking forward you to win or maybe all your success, not just in pageantry, maybe outside pageantry. I really wish you all the best, and I am, trust me, I'm looking forward to maybe one day we having a conversation on the red carpet. That's like my future goals right now, and I just, you know, trust that in everything that we wish for, it happens, you know. Yeah, I trust. What advice do you have for me? I want to say for other people, but for me, and maybe someday I woke up on the right side and I was like, girl, I want to do pageant. But maybe, you know, that's the future, you know. Thought. Yeah, what advice do you have for someone that's looking up to you, that want to get in these spaces, pageantry spaces? What advice do you have for them?
There's one quote that has been with me throughout every single season of my life, which is, if your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough.
For me,
It sounds as simple, but
it sounds very simple, but for me, making top 10 was scary because I was calculating that, okay, there's 36 semi-finalists. If they are picking 10, I was like, that's a 28% chance of making it. That's scary. Your chances of making it is 28%. So I was like, okay, this is scary. Okay, it's a good thing to be scared. I was like, okay. So yeah, if your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. Every single season of my life, I've had to take really difficult decisions. I've had to really put myself out there. And there were times where it didn't work out, but then I also have a lot of faith in knowing that there is something out there for me that will, you know, take me to where I want to go one day.
push you to greatness.
Push me to greatness, exactly. But the dream was still there. It's always plan A for me.
That's what's up. That's profound. I really thank you for coming on the safe space, and as we continue the conversation of wishing all the best, you know. If people want to follow you, they want to. And by the way, she's an award-winning mentor, you know. So if people maybe want to book you, they want to have a conversation with you, where can they catch you up?
So do I look into the camera? Okay, because I can't tell you. You know how to reach me. Okay, so my handle is thembelihle_Mnguni on Instagram. So that's THEMBELIHLE_MNGUNI. And then my email address is thembelihle.mng@gmail.com.
For booking and serious business. Thank you. All right, girl. I really think thank you so much for actually making the time, for honoring
You're
the
welcome.
invite. Yeah, I really wish you all the best from the bottom of my heart, and I just want to see you having the crown, and the fact that you're from East Rand, girl. That's that's the top T, you know. Thank you once again for coming on the safe space.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. I have had an amazing time. This is my first podcast also.
Oh yeah.
So I had a good time. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. If you want to be part of the KJ Rule Talk and create healing and healthy conversation, make sure you subscribe. If you want to be part of the healthy and healing conversation, make sure you email me thekjrealtalk@gmail.com. And if you want to get direct in contact with me, trust me, if you DM me on the KJ Rule Talk podcast on Instagram, trust me, I'll respond as quick as possible.